have to tell you that, as I said in my remarks, looking back, it would have been probably, smarter to have used 2 devices, but I have absolute confidence that everything that could be in any way connected to work is now in the possession of the State Department. And I have to add, even if I'd had 2 devices, which is obviously permitted, many people do that, you would still have to put the responsibility where it belongs, which is on the official. So I did it for convenience, and I now, looking back, think that it might have been smarter to have those 2 devices from the very beginning.
Really? Will somebody do me a favor? Somebody answer the question, whether there was a law, a rule, because I'm hearing all kinds of different things. Why would she need 2 devices? I've been saying this since she had the press conference. Why would she need 2 devices for 2 email addresses, for 2 email accounts, when I have 3 on my BlackBerry? Will someone answer the question? Lanny Davis couldn't tell me yesterday, and Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch said there is no such law that you need separate emails, separate phones for separate email accounts. So what does she think? We're stupid? Or am I missing something? Maybe David Harsanyi could tell me. He's a nationally syndicated columnist and senior editor at The Federalist. David, you wrote a great piece. You know, I was watching CNN earlier today, and they had Michael Schmerkanish. And Michael Schmerkanish, used to be a Republican, then he went to nothing. And, oh, yes, Republicans better not overplay their hand here. And you, as you write in your great piece, Unifying Theory of Media Scandal Coverage, it's always the Republicans' fault. No matter what the issue, no matter how much to blame or at fault the Democrat or the liberal is, but you better not overdo it, Republicans, or you'll suffer.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the first question whenever there's a scandal involving a Democrat. How will Republicans react? Will they overreact? Will they, come off as being harsh, rather than concerning themselves with corruption, which is what this is clearly about? And it should be apolitical. A good reporter should want to know which of the 30,000 or more emails that were destroyed or deleted had official business in it. I mean, I think that that's, if journalists were genuine about their vocation and role in society, that's what they would care about. But instead it becomes this sort of drama about what Republicans are going to do, which is irrelevant other than to Republicans and their future, I think.
No, you're absolutely 100% right. And of course, when a Democrat does something, Republican does something, Foley, when he made the rape comment in 2012, the Tampa Convention was dubbed by the media, either officially or unofficially, certainly by implication, as the Convention of Rapists. Every Republican all of a sudden had Foley's comments of rape coming out of their mouths, and it was just ridiculous. But that's the way the game is played.
Yeah, that's another thing. When Todd Akin said the rape comment, every Republican was asked what they thought of it. How many people are asked?
I'm sorry, I said Foley. I meant Akin. That was yeah.
Yeah, but how many Republicans are asked, for instance, what they think of Jared Polis, a congressman from Colorado's contention that Tom Cotton is a traitor? No one asks every Democrat about that. So there are definitely different standards. With all that said, however, I mean, Republicans have a responsibility and conservatives have a responsibility to have good media, to have smart messaging, to get out the messages about these things. That's why we have 2 parties. I mean, one party has to look at the other party and hold them responsible for the things they do. So, I mean, that's part of the story as well.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So what about it? I mean, what about this particular issue that Republicans, except for Trey Gowdy, who is the chairman of the Select Committee, they've really been laying low and basically letting Hillary stew in her own pot?
I think it's smart. You don't want to get involved when things are going your way. I think you should just let it happen. I mean, but I think there is a responsibility. And let's be honest, I'm not even sure that this story would have broken if it weren't for those Republicans in Congress probably leaking and tipping off reporters. I mean, so I think they have a responsibility to keep digging rather than grandstanding, and I think that's what they've done now. So the problem, I think, is that sooner or later this is going to turn into a different story for the media. It's going to turn into a story about how everyone's ganging up on Hillary, like you mentioned, the Turkish television reporter wondering if this was a man, would it happen to them, trying to create equivalency by mentioning Jeb Bush, these sorts of things. And we might lose the plot, or at least the plot that I think is important. So Republicans have some, or conservative media outlets have some responsibility to try to keep it focused on what's important, which is corruption.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this opens the door to the past, because it eerily smacks of the past, and her trying to explain what appropriateness is and handing over the emails reminds me of what is. But anyway, David, keep up the good work. We'll speak to you soon. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, President and Executive Director of the New York Civil Rights League, it's going to be Mr. Myers, Michael Myers.